Recently, I started a brand new adventure, a long one at that, but I started it anyway. That adventure being the Trail series. Now, for a while, I had already known about the Trail series. Like I've seen it here and there, right? Probably on Steam or occasionally like on Twitter or something. Um, I never paid like any mind to it. Like I didn't really care about it until recently. Right, recently, like I was taking a look at it. Um, I just kind of wanted to try something new, and I decided to give the Trail series a try. Um, I started with the first game, Trails in the Sky. I will say that I went in with like very, I would say, low expectations. Like I wasn't expecting it to be like, like amazing, right? Like I was just like tamper my expectations and like let's just see what it's about, right? I have now beaten Trails in the Sky, the first game, and I've got to say that I am genuinely surprised. Okay, I'm genuinely surprised. I enjoyed it way more than I would have ever guessed. All right, so I clocked in at about 45, 46 hours. I will say that for as good as I did like it, for as much as I did like it, this game is pretty slow to start. I would say like about the first 10 to 15 hours, I would say it's pretty slow. Like it's obviously like establishing, our main characters here and there, the world that we're going through. Very small. Another thing I would also say is that it's also like very humble beginnings. So, things start out pretty small, and like relatively like there's no risk. Um, but then as the game goes on, like, bigger things start happening, eventually culminates like towards the end where there's this whole, overthrow in the, current government and stuff is going on. So, and but I would definitely say that after like once you get to like Ruan and the city of Ruan and all that stuff starts happening, I think the game really starts to shine. Really starts to shine, especially with its characters. Okay, definitely by that point in the game, I started to give a shit about these characters, about Estelle, about Joshua, and all the other characters that were accompanying us at certain points in the game. Very great. One of the things that I really liked about this game was the characterization and I guess character dialogue. I thought it to be really great. One of my favorite, I guess, events or moments in the game was the whole play in the school play. Like that whole segment is like so, how do I put this? It reminded me of like FF7 or FF9 play, like the play that goes on in those two games. It really reminded me of that. And I thought it was very well done. Very well done. And like just from that point in the game and onwards, it was, I have to say, fantastic. Okay. So many cute moments too. Like, again, like the relationship between these characters um, was like genuinely like I gave a shit, right? Like for example, like Tita and her relationship with like the Estelle and Joshua has like this, like younger and older sibling dynamic. I thought was really great. I thought that was very adorable, and yeah, there is the whole thing with Estelle and Joshua. That whole like romance part is, you know is what it is. It's like, yeah, they're they're like they're siblings, but they're not siblings because they're not related by blood. So it's like this gray area, and it's just like at some point, it's just like whatever, just have fun with it. Definitely by the end, okay, talking about that ending had me like just in awe, jaw dropped. Like y'all know, like you know the emo, like the no way emo, where it's like going like that. Like that was literally me the entire time as I was watching that ending play out. Like, god damn, god damn, right? And it was very funny because while I was getting to the end of the game, you know, that last like whole dungeon part, um, I was really kind of thinking that, oh, this isn't gonna end as I thought it would. Like I thought there was gonna be like a, you know, like something bad was gonna happen, you know, obviously to like set up the next game and stuff like that. And relatively everything was going really smooth. It was like, oh, we did it. We saved the day. All right. But then of course, in comes Joshua and him, I guess, remembering um what he was or what had his past and stuff like that. And then obviously to the final, to you know, the finale scene there with I think that's the final scene, right? Estelle and Joshua, and it's just like, all right, this is what, boom, there. That is the bad note that we leave on, and you know, I guess begin towards the second game. Literally, you know, Sasuke coded, Sasuke arc, literally. I'm here for it, and yeah. So like story overall, like that's what I kind of think about it. Very slow at first, slow burn, but let me tell you, they're cooking, okay? And at some point, for me, that point where it was like, oh wow, I'm having a great time with the characters, was at the point where you get to Ruan, and then from there onwards, it was like I'm loving every moment between these characters. Um, and yeah, and it just leaves off for the start of the second game. I really look forward to that. Um, yeah, I gotta say, I am very like this was a very solid, great start to this series. Obviously, I still have two other games to go through. I guess this would be called a trilogy, right? Like for this first little bit of the series, it is three games. Um, we'll see how the next two games play out. I'll say let's go with the combat, the battle system. Now, I used to like turn-based games more like 4 years ago, and then I don't know what it is. I guess I got Zoomer brained or whatever. And I really didn't start to like these kinds of turn-based games as much as I used to. Now there are exceptions, like there are exceptions that there are a couple of games out there that I still do enjoy that are turn-based games, but like, you know, overall I'm like less inclined to try them. So, but even with that said, I was completely fine with the combat of this game. I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was kind of like a drag for the most part. I do think it was a little bit shallow. Like there wasn't too much depth to it. Like definitely at some point, like around halfway mark, like I feel like the combat wasn't evolving anymore, and it was just like, yeah, this is all there was to it. So I hope that's something that gets improved as it goes on. I'm sure it does. Um, that's what I thought about the combat system. Um, music was all right. I I was I had a I enjoyed it. There were definitely some tunes in the game that I enjoyed. Um, there weren't that many though. I feel like, especially when it came to like battle music, it was kind of repetitive. Um, I will say that I will always fuck with the, I guess, the normal battle music. I thought that was a real groove. Um, but yeah, that was about it about the music. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Visuals are kind of not bad. It's an old game. It's like like 20 years ago. But I actually thought that the environment actually looked pretty nice, and the fact that you could move the camera in most cases was kind of neat, right? And especially what I was surprised about was like what the actual like character models on the field could actually do in some cutscenes. I thought was actually pretty neat. Um, but yeah, that is about what I have to say about this. My first step into this trails, right? Trails series, and with the Trails in the Sky arc. I'm not really sure. I'm not very familiar with the terminology yet, but I got to say I'm pleasantly surprised by this for this first game, and this is a great start. I gotta say, very solid, great start, and I definitely am eagerly looking forward to playing the second game. Whenever I do that, I probably will just stream that game when I do it from start to finish. Whenever I do start that, probably not anytime soon though, because there are kind of a couple games I do want to play. I can't wait for the second game. That about wraps it up. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, see you.